DJ TMac checking in, Flavor in Your Ear Radio, here with an artist out here on Cape Cod creating his new project. He goes by the name of G4 Jag.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to be here. Thank you very much for opening the door and letting me come have a conversation with you.
Man, thanks for coming to rock with us, DJ T-Mac. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. It's very rare, like I said, to find hip-hop out here on Cape Cod, homegrown, but then for people to come out here to want to create is very interesting.
Well, I got to give the credit to my producer, Mephux, because this was all his idea. He comes to the Cape to find inspiration. He comes here, for peace and good times all the time. So it was kind of his idea to have me come out here and let's create this album out here.
That's really awesome. So that was really going to be my first question. What brings you out here?
Right.
So that's pretty cool that you've been coming out here for a while. Is it vacation? Does your family have a home out here? Why do you come out here?
So I live in Falmouth. And I live in Boston, but I come to the Cape, for like the summertime. And I come out here to record and make music. And this time I just had a different feel about it and wanted to go to P-Town because everybody shuts down everything during the winter time. So I was just this will be perfect for isolation and just focus directly on the album. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's the gist of it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I came out here in 2017 to start working really through the summer, and I was just trying to find myself. So I started DJing, started doing this radio show here on this. It's an all volunteer community radio station, so it's a crazy variety of music that is on there. But I started producing a little bit, and I actually hooked up with an artist myself, and we created a project. And really out here, being in the winter, you're so isolated. It's so different from the fast-paced summer. When you work here in the summer, it's really fast-paced and crazy. There's really no time to rest. So in the winter, being able to sit down, relax, and create is something I really enjoy doing. So that's awesome that you guys were able to come out here and sort of experience the same thing. Pretty awesome view in the background. I wish I came a little earlier. We would have had the golden hour that they call it. But pretty awesome that we got the low tide here. So P-Town, it has a rich history of art. People coming out here painting. You see all the art galleries.
Yeah, I noticed.
Have you been able to go to any of the galleries in town?
Well, we've been really focused on the creation of the project, but we have been perusing the town through our day-to-day activities. And I noticed that there was that me and Mephux was talking about everything's art galleries. I think that's pretty dope because you could tell the community has a lot of creative energy.
Absolutely. For a long time, it's a rich history. It's like a really Portuguese fishing town and art town. Wow. Rich history of filmmakers coming here. Even more recently, there's a show on, I forget what it is. It's called High Town or something like that. But they film here in Provincetown. Writers, authors, people go out to the dunes to isolate, going out on dune tour. I highly recommend doing that. I don't think they're running right now. But yeah, really cool that you came out here to create. You have Mephux here. This is one of your producers working on the latest album called Regression, right?
Right.
How do you? I noticed that on a lot of your projects you work with one producer. So how do you come to the decision about which producer you're going to work with? Kind of when you work with them. How does that come to be? And even how you choose to do a project, coming out here, isolating, and choosing to do this with Mephux?
No, that's a great question. Really, that plan really came from my brother Flea Lord. He's the founder of the Lord Mob, which I'm currently signed to. So he really set that standard. I'm gonna work with kind of one producer on a body of work, so he can really isolate himself in a specific sound to sell to his market, and then move on, to the next body of work and the next producer. He's currently putting out, 12 projects this year, 2020. So
that's amazing, putting in work.
He's putting in a lot of work. So he's about to drop his 12th project in the name of P, Prodigy. It's in remembrance of, the OG Prodigy from Mobb Deep, which is he had very, very close relationship with. And this is one of the projects where he's using, multiple producers because it is such a, kind of a big kind of thing that's going on within the name of P. But I really took that paradigm from him, like working with one producer, finding someone who I'm very comfortable with, someone who makes sense from a business standpoint also. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure the business is right. You know, kind of isolating yourself and trying to make the best possible work. So this year I really was able to really do that a lot, working with Dirty Diggs, locked in with Mephux for a project. Those, you know, you can hear the work, you know what I'm saying? Like, you hear the Dirty Diggs project is a very unique sounding project. It's very, sticks to his guns. My project, Progressions, if you listen to it, all the beats are very cinematic. They're movie-esque. They almost sound like it's from a score of a movie.
Very much so.
Yeah, so that's kind of the vibe that me and Mephux bring together. I feel like when I work with Mephux, we make like a bigger sounding music. All the other projects are amazing, and I love them. They're all like your kids, you know. You don't like to pick which one is your favorite.
Sure.
But I do know that, you know, when I work with Mephux, the goal is to create like a bigger sound. It's to progress. So I just, you know, those projects are really near and dear to my heart because it shows like the steps forward that I'm taking in my career.
And you really just like to collaborate in general. Who is it? Mussolini, I think.
Yes, my brother. Salute to Mussolini from Washington Heights.
I heard him a lot on the tracks, and I really like the way you guys almost balance out the track. You have a very unique voice. That's one of the first things that stuck out to me is the low voice, the tone. But him and the way you guys go back and forth, I like it a lot. I find it very interesting, and like I said, it balances out the track very well.
Yeah, me and Mussolini actually have a whole project that we dropped this year called Scriptures in the Sky.
Yep.
So that's why you was able to find, you know, a lot of collaborations with me and the bro. And that whole process was organic. Like, we really just locked in the studio together, fed off each other's energy, you know, beat selection. That's another project. We didn't have one producer. We kind of used, like, I picked a couple of my favorite producers. He picked a couple of his, and we met in the middle and kind of, you know, just tried to make the best possible product.
Nice. Is Love Kills off that one?
Yes.
I like that song. That one stuck out to me. That one I had to jot down. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, that was like one of my first double time kind of flows. We're gonna, I think we're gonna let you hear a new. I don't double time. With double time, so for people who are not aware, like, you know, fast rapping, going like to the beat, like maybe 2 times, you know, the speed is what I mean when I say like double time flow. So a lot of kind of the newer music has like a double time flow. I traditionally like to stay, you know, in my pocket, but Love Kills is a song where I kind of stepped out of that comfort zone, and I really, you know, in my entire career, that's the only time I've done that. So today we're gonna let you guys hear the second time I've done that, and with Mephux, and it's an amazing record.
Exclusive, you guys. Exclusive coming to Cape Cod.
Yeah, this is not coming out till probably spring 2021.
Very awesome. Throw out your social media real quick so anybody that's listening, they could follow you, find you, and, you know, say what up, that they're tuned in.
Yeah, if you're looking for Mephux, what I like you to do is go to Instagram, type in the @ MEPHUX, Mephux. See an orange logo, that's how you know you're in the right place. If you're looking for G4 Jag, tap in the @G, the number 4 JAG, and you're gonna see, you know, my face is going to be a big, handsome fella. You know what I'm saying? You'll recognize me. It'll say the Big Lord. So please feel free to tap in. Talk to me. I talk back.
So how involved in the production are you? You guys are out here together. Are you mostly just coming in when it's almost ready, picking beats, or you're picking samples and sounds? How involved in the production are you?
Yeah, let me first.
So usually when I produce an album, like, I produce each track individually for that artist, like, specifically, because, like, I treat their voice as an instrument. So a lot of the audio engineering that goes into it has to take into account, like, you know, the artist's vocals, and, you know, make sure that you get all the frequencies correct. Yeah, exactly. This one was interesting because I actually had a few beats in the stash that I made for Progression that just, like, didn't make the cut, but, like, on second review we were like, this works perfectly for Regression because they were darker style beats. Regression being the flip opposite of Progression, like, you know, like, we wanted to, like, take a grimier approach to it and, you know, do some more street style hip hop, like boom bap. But we really went all over the place. Like, Regression is a very interesting body of work, and I think, like, you know, the fans are going to be really in tune with it.
That's really awesome. That's something that I noticed. You know, Progression was the last time. Regression. So obviously we got, like, polar opposites right there.
Right.
How did you guys kind of come up with that concept? I get you kind of answered a little bit that it's almost a darker sound. Progression was five tracks. This one is like 9 or so, maybe you said.
It'll be a little bit more. A full-length EP. Only because just organically, it made more sense at this point. Me and Mephux are like, I like to do music with people who have genuine ties with. So when we did Progression, me and Mephux were really getting to know each other and becoming, good brotherhood. But now it's, we're at a different space. We're kind of locked in, full force right now. So it's time, to give a world a full album with me and him. And then it's, I'm a Gemini, so that's really where the idea came from with Progression. We wanted to give them like a darker side of me because, life is about balance. That's something I genuinely believe. And Progression is, it's a great statement, and it's a statement towards the goals that I have. But there are things you got to do to remain balanced in life, and Regression is a statement of that. And I believe the album is a full length because it's a genuine reflection of my life currently, whereas Progression is more of a reflection of my goals. It's it's always good to know where you want to go, but when you're talking about where you are, it's always a lot more deeper to dig into. You know what I'm saying?
I like how you broke that down. That's pretty in depth. Some artists just be like, you got to listen to the music, but I like that you gave us some insight like that. So that's really dope. I'm excited to hear it. You drop very consistently. So over 3 projects this year, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult. You have music on a few different platforms trying to figure out, which came out when or whatever. But 3 this year, 3+ this year, last year also. Do you know when Regressions will be coming out? Do you have a tentative date or month in mind?
It's tentatively set for the spring of 2021. The first thing on our bill is the Lord Mob compilation. We're introducing all of our brothers. Mephux currently is working with my brother Flea Lord, and they started an entire label, and I'm one of the artists that signed to the label along with my brother Etho, my bro TF from the West Coast, and my bro Funk P from the West Coast. And we got a lot of people that's coming up behind that mob as well, like Akil Ali, Young Act, my man Zaza Lord, Connie, Santana Fox. So that it's a lot. It's really just like a mob full of genuine creatives and people who are like morally sound and creatively blessed and like really coming together to push the vision forward. So it's beautiful. So the first thing we want to do, like as a brand, all of us we kind of agreed upon, is we want to put the compilation album out first and make that statement that hey, we're here.
This is the crew.
Yeah, this is us. This is what we're doing. And you haven't really gotten that energy in a very long time, especially not to the level that we plan to do it for the world. So it's that's really the main focus right now, is make sure the Lord Mom compilation is sound and really crush the world with that. And then once that's that wave is started and we create that fire, then I'm gonna come hopefully and pour some gasoline on it and continue to help
keep
it
building.
Burn. Yeah.
Nice, man. I like that a lot. So break down your name, G4 Jag, Flat Family. You just kind of broke down Lord Mob a little bit, but break down your name.
Okay, so Jag is my real name. It's just my initials. Like it's nothing real cool with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just literally my initials. And then the G4 thing was a name given to me by some young ladies when I was in school. I wasn't really with the basketball shorts and flip-flop. I'm from Harlem, New York City, so we kind of have like a reputation, with our appearance and the way we carry ourselves. So, the G4, they used to call me G4, fly like a plane. It was, it's just stuck with me for a while. So
cool.
That's the history behind it. The Fly Family thing, of course I am G4, so actually, I'm a father of 4, and I believe in family life, heavily. So the Fly Family is like, I don't believe you can't talk fly talk or, that kind of successful talk if you're not making sure your family is successful. You know what I'm saying? So Fly Family was like my all-inclusive kind of idea to make sure everybody around me was winning. And it then turned into, kind of like a crew. I'm not going to say, we are a label. We do distribution and we do things like that. But my focus right now is the Lord Mob brand. My guys under Fly Family are like working diligently. Akil Ali has been like kind of a brand leader for 2020, the fourth quarter for us, with his last project, Dirty Spirits, on all digital streaming platforms now, presented by Doe Network. So if you haven't got a chance, please check that out.
I heard a couple of tracks. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of art, and he's my. Well, as I've been focusing on the Lord My brand and playing my role, Akil Ali has been kind of taking a leadership role and helping with the Fly Family brand, and building his own brand in his career as well. So it's been kind of like just a beautiful matrimony amongst everybody.
That's great, man. It's great to hear and see the growth. That's really cool. Organic stuff happening. So you mentioned you're from Harlem, but you spent some time in Buffalo, New York as well. A lot of time out there, and obviously you got some Griselda on right now, and you mentioned that you work with them. So talk about that, kind of your connection there. Is that how you guys connected? Was a Buffalo connection, or how did you guys connect?
So the way I kind of got into the scene was I stopped making hip hop for a really long time. I've been making beats since I was 16, and I'm 35 now. So long time. I stopped making hip hop for a long time. A good portion of that was spent like doing EDM and trip hop style stuff. I started listening to Conway from a friend of mine named Trill, and I was like, I can make a beat like that like in 5 minutes. Like that's nothing. Like I can pull that off. It didn't take 5 minutes. It took much longer than that. But I did end up making a beat, and that beat was then used for a project called Draco, a record called Draco that went on the Organized Grime EP. So that's how I kind of got into it. And then Conway had introduced me to Flea backstage at a concert when he was opening for Freddie Gibbs. And then me and Flea hit it off. And I started to work with Flea a lot and ended up doing 2 records with him, one called Pray for the Evil and then one called Pray for the Evil 2. We've got Pray for the Evil 3, the trilogy, set up for next year. Not sure when that's going to drop yet, but anyways, long story short, I met G4 through Flea. And as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I need to produce for this guy. So like, it was a mission to basically work, and Progression was the first real collab between me and G4.
That's great. Progression was the first thing, and you guys are building, doing the second one already. So talk a little bit about your Buffalo connection, the time you spent out there, and how Harlem and Buffalo influenced you and your music, maybe separately or similarly.
Well, yeah, I moved around. So I'm a 9/11 survivor. I wasn't, gonna graduate high school and shit like that. I was kind of making a lot of bad choices, and I ended up getting into a school in Niagara Falls, New York. So that was like the only school I really got into. It was like kind of a rough situation, but it was like opportunity to get out of Harlem, and when I didn't think I was gonna have one. You know what I'm saying? So we took the shot. I went to school. That's how I ended up in Niagara Falls. College didn't really work out for me. I ended up, dropping out of school, but living in Niagara Falls. So my first real experience in West New York was like living in Niagara Falls and then going back and forth to Buffalo, because a lot of the students, a lot of my friends, people I was messing with, they lived in Buffalo. My man El Biz, he was related to one of my good friends, John, who was one of my roommates, lived on like the floor and shit like that, and he was a musician, a singer, and he would pull up and take me to the studio and shit. We'd go create in Buffalo, and then that's how I started really linking with like the Buffalo music scene, you know what I mean? Shout out to A Status and Elma Ave and Scripps and my boy Mark, the group in Buffalo, who really kind of took me in as their brother, and we started Still a Hustle Records. Still a Hustle Records, we started working with Thugsman, my man Thugsman out of Buffalo, and he was with Buff City Records, who had Benny and Conway signed at the time with DJ Shay. So my first experience was kind of like going to the studio with Thugs and Rittens, and that's where I got to first meet Conway and DJ Shay, and really organically meet with those guys. And to be honest with you, I took my own path musically. That was just more like a friendship. That wasn't like a music relationship. That was just like, we do music together, but these are the guys. You know what I'm saying? It's more genuine love. And I moved back to the city. So I wasn't in Buffalo no more. I was up there for 10 years. So, I had a lot of good relationships with people because I lived there. My kids was born out there. A lot of my family was established out there, Rochester, New York as well. So when I moved back to New York, I ended up meeting Flea in a studio that I was working in a lot. So I would be coming in, he would be leaving out. And we just always just found each other in the same space at the same time. We were just both working a lot, you know what I mean? And he actually made the decision to turn around and invest in my sound. He would listen to I had 200 songs unreleased at the time, and maybe 150 songs. Something I might be exaggerating a little bit, but probably 150 songs. And he went through all the songs and kind of broke them down into 10 songs and created the Survivors Project. And that would be the project that dropped January 2019. So kind of ever since then, when he executive produced that project, we just kind of began an organic relationship. And he had his own relationship with the, kind of the Griselda movement. So when I started, kind of going to his shows with him, it was just kind of like, a reunion. You start to see people you see from your past. You start to see people, you kind of, from other avenues of life. And it's just, crazy how the world comes full circle. Like, it's not like all of this was planned and it was like, oh, yeah, Jag is up next. It was like, I had no idea, kind of what the path would be. I just tried to remain consistent. And I know that in every city that I was in, I'm just going to keep working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that consistency. Like I mentioned before, all the projects this year and last year, I see it. It's cool, man. I enjoy the music and the sound. And Still Surviving is a project?
Yes, that came out January this year.
Oh, that one came out this year. Okay.
Yeah, that would be the follow-up to the Survivors.
Okay, I think I got to go back and get to that one still. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, man. You got to take your time.
It's a lot of projects, yo.
Yeah, I think last year I dropped 5 projects last year. Then this year I'm 3 in, maybe 4 in. So I mean, that's a 9-piece. But I come from the house of the Lord, so Flea dropped 12 this year. So I mean, my little 9 don't really sound like much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're still working. You're still trying to get somewhere.
I'm still trying to do my chin-ups.
That's great, man. You mentioned being a 9/11 survivor. That's something that I found, and that's crazy. How old were you when that happened?
I was 16 when that happened. I was in high school for economics and finance at 100 Trinity Place, if anybody wants to look it up. But we were the closest school in New York City, and we was there. I mean,
crazy. Obviously, it's a significant day. You drop projects on that day, typically?
Yeah, typically I try to drop on 9/11 because that was kind of one of the defining. All of my release dates are so. I plan release dates for me and all my artists around significant dates in their lives or significant dates to them. For example, Akil Ali's project dropped 11/11. He's very into numerology and he's very into kind of self-awareness and understanding that, how different energies work in the universe. So that was a very important date to him. I dropped the Survivors and Still Surviving on January 3rd. That's the day my grandmother passed away. So, that's just a date where I always want to drop music and, kind of remembrance and ode to those people that I lost. If you look on the back of my albums, it's always a RIP to somebody or whoever I've lost this year, because unfortunately I found myself, surrounded by a lot of death, at times. But, I use that to fuel the positive energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't get consumed by the negativity. I just try to push that basket into, another positive one and just keep the shit moving.
That's cool, man. I respect that. I like that. A very unique voice, as I mentioned. That's one of the first things that I noticed about you. Is that kind of always how you rapped, or is that something that you developed over time? And how long have you been rapping? That's something I'm also interested in.
I started later than most people who are genuinely hip hop heads. I didn't start rapping until I was about 17 years old. Mm-hmm. I got into it just basically off of being in high school, and my friends started a little clique, and they was all rapping. They was getting the little shorties. They was who was lit. I wanted to be lit too, so I'm gonna start writing too.
You gotta get some bars together,
right? And I started at the bottom, and eventually I ended up performing at my school talent show, and just let that kind of come to fruition. I ended up winning a superlative, most likely to be a star in high school, and I just kind of rode that wave ever since. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of I felt like it's just God's plan. You can't make this shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. And we here right now. Thank you again for letting me in. This is awesome. Like I said, I haven't done an interview in a little bit, and finding out that you're here, a genuine hip hop artist who's out here genuinely creating with a producer, that's really cool. stuff. Do you have a favorite collaboration that you've done? Either like a verse on somebody's track, or you mentioned earlier, obviously, I'm not going to ask you which is your favorite project. There's so many. They're like children.
Yeah.
But like a favorite verse maybe people should check out where you feel like that really represents you, where you just really went off.
I don't want to sound arrogant. I mean, I
want to say when doesn't he?
Which one?
I was about to say when doesn't he go off?
That's what I was gonna say. I was about to say, I don't know. Pick whatever you like. Like that's how I feel.
All right.
No, I'm gonna say Dark Days.
Dark Days. I mean, yeah, Dark Days is the new video out. Yeah, sure. Then let's do it like that. So my favorite verse right now is gonna be Dark Days featuring Akil Ali. It's the last video we just dropped.
There's a visual for that.
There's
saw
a
that
visual
one.
for that.
Go
so
check that
please
out.
go run those numbers up. I said some really powerful stuff on there, man. Drop some jewels for the people. So yes, Dark Days on YouTube now. Featuring Akil Ali featuring me. Let's get that right.
It's a feature, people. It's a feature. Very cool. So me being a DJ, I always, trying to find things to scratch or things to say. And one of your lines that I really enjoyed, I think it's off your guys' last project, is called "Pushing Positivity, but still got the Mac on me." So
Yes.
Obviously it says Mac, TMac. I'm always trying to clip that out and scratch that.
That's fire. That's fire.
But talk about the almost the duality of that line.
I mean, so we this is why I love the project's progression and regression, even though regression is not even out yet. But it's duality. I feel like it's like a full definition of life.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all about balance. So Akil Ali uses a word that I've been kind of stealing called universal law. It's like you don't ever try to push negativity, but for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. And actions always warrant equal and opposite reaction. And if you believe in universal law, then that energy is not negative. That's just warranted at the time. And that's something that I believe in life. Like, life is about balance. So you always have to do what you have to do to keep balance.
Mm-hmm. Balance, man. That's what it's all about. Earlier in the show, I recorded the first hour of the show already earlier today, and I played a couple of tracks off of Static's new album, The Balancing Act. That's what it's all about, balance. And obviously, I was going to ask you about that, being a family man and doing the music at the same time. Can you talk about that balance a little bit?
Regression and regression, my friend.
Okay, yep.
Now we're going to start doing the corny artist stuff. No, but in real life, like it's cool that you're picking up on that stuff to me. You know what I'm saying? Because that when I say my music is a reflection of real life, this is why we're gonna hear such repeated topics, because there's no fluff. You know what I'm saying? Like when you ask me about how to balance, it's progression and regression. That's the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like you try to move forward every day, but at times you regress. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm feeding 4 kids and I'm an artist. So it's never easy, you know what I'm saying, until I'm, up there with the bigger artists, which I will be one day. I have those visions, you know what I'm saying? Like, I believe I'm going to get there. It's just, I've made the commitment to fully commit myself to music. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but right now I'm sitting in Cape Cod. I'm creating this beautiful album, and my grandmother passed away today. You know what I'm saying? My wife is going through it right now. And I don't say that for sympathy purposes, but I say that to speak on the importance of balance. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sit here with this beautiful scenery, and we talk about the amount of work we put in, but the work is the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here on celebration time. I'm here on trying to create legacy for my future. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate these opportunities, you know what I mean? Because if not, I could be regressing and going through life.
Doing something else for sure.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's part of the balance. You know what I mean? Like, it's just life, you got to know how to take the ups and the downs, just like your grandmother used to say.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you breaking that down for us. Another line that stuck out that, it relates to you being here right now is trying to treat the world like the boroughs. I'm not sure which project that was on, but I like that a lot. I'm trying to be a traveler too. So talk about that and just creating in different places.
That was on Black Coffee, if I'm not mistaken. That's where
that's the intro,
from.
Right?
It's the first song on Progression. There's actually a very, very big video coming for that very soon. We just like kind of shot a movie for that video, like literally. So it's when I say I'm trying to treat the world like the boroughs, what I mean is literally the way I used to bounce around New York City when I was providing for my family, like on an hourly basis, is I would literally be all over the city at any point in time. My day starts at 4 in the morning. It doesn't end till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I'm literally in any of the 5 boroughs at any point in time with the level of work that I had to put in. So, I like to treat the world like that one day, with this rap music is, me folks just put a plan in place that we might be shooting the next video in Moscow. So, I mean, we already on the way to try to treat the world like the boroughs, you know what I mean?
Cool, man.
You only get one life. So, you have to maximize the time, and you have to try to leave as many good memories and impressions on the world as you can, because that's all you're worth.
Amen.
From my perspective, you know what I mean? Everybody got their own opinion.
I like that, man. Thank you for breaking that down. So I wasn't really expecting to have you here in the interview too much. So you talked about that you sort of, well, I guess you were producing hip hop for a little bit. Talk about how you started producing, why you kind of stopped producing it, and kind of how you fell back into producing hip hop.
Yeah. So I don't know if I ever really fell out of it. I've always been a hip hop fan, like forever. I just got into synthesizers and doing like sample free music different sounds, like getting into like electronic music and really exploring like how far I could push hip hop, And I'll show you some tracks later, but they all have like a hip hop feel, but it's very trip hop ish, or like if you're familiar with like Aphex Twin, like it's very like chaotic. But I got back into hip hop thanks to my friend Trill, and I started producing almost immediately for people like Conway, like making beats like for big name artists like. And when I linked with Flea, like, that resume just started to grow substantially. Like, I got a track with Trey the Truth. I got a track with West Side Gun, Rock Marciano. We had Keisha Plum on there. We had Ito, 38 Special. That was all on one album. So, like, just working with Flea, my catalog and resume of people that I've worked with is just skyrocketed. And, I hate to say this because, like, I love all the projects that I've worked on, but Regression is, like, definitely my favorite project that I've worked on so far. Like, the style of beats, like, are perfect. The flow and the cadence that G4 brings to all the beats is, like, nothing like we've created before. And I think it's just going to be an instant classic. Like, it is truly like a hip hop classic. And I don't want to jinx myself by saying that, but like I truly believe that. And so that's what got me back into hip hop, is mostly hanging out with the Lord Mob and, getting inspired by these guys making such great music and seeing that hip hop's still alive and well. Like, there's still a reason to pursue it. Still a reason to be a sampler, still a reason to be a DJ, a turntablist, like graffiti artist, like. These things exist still, and the culture is not gone. It's just, the mainstream is kind of taken over, and people have kind of forgotten, where the roots are. And we're trying to bring that back.
I like that a lot, because that's what I try to do on my radio show. You know what I mean? You mentioned the mainstream kind of took hip hop in its own direction of what people's kind of perception of it is. So I like that. You got back into it for, the original reason it kind of started. So that's really cool to hear. I mean, that's amazing that you're working that with those top-notch artists too, and a soon-to-be top-notch artist. I'm really excited for this next project that's coming out by both you guys, and the collaboration project, or the compilation, I should say, with the Lord Mob, right?
Right. Lord
coming
Mob
out
compilation.
January
2021.
Awesome. Very excited to hear that. Anything else you guys want to give to the people? Any nuggets, tips? Obviously, shout out your social media again. Anything like that? Let the people know kind of where to find you, and anything else you want to give to the people of Cape Cod and to the globe where we're streaming.
You want to go first?
You go first.
Just don't stop making art. Like, never give up on your dreams. Like, that's one thing that I gave up on. I gave up on music, and I'm lucky and happy that I revisited it, because it's made my life so much, fuller and richer. So I mean, I would just say, you know, if you're a struggling artist, or you're an upcoming producer, or you're you know, a turntablist, like, you know, don't stop, like, keep pursuing it, and eventually someone's going to take notice, and someone's going to basically see your talent and pick it up. Like, so that was with me with producing, like, you know, getting to meet and link with people like G4, and getting to make the style of music and the quality of music that we're making. Like, I never thought that would be possible. And if I would have given up and never touched the boards again, or my MPC, like, you know, I would have never made it this far. I wouldn't be sitting here today. So that would be my advice. Just don't give up.
Great stuff, man. Great stuff. G4, what do you want to tell the people?
Oh, man, I want to say shout out to Cape Cod, man. Thank you for having us for these couple of weeks we've been here, man. Seen a lot of the good locals. We've been supporting the businesses, man. Had some great scallops from Finizzi's, man. Salute to Finizzi's, man. We've been tearing up Stop and Shop. It's been a lot of love, man. Everyone here is so friendly, man. So I just want to say thank you to the community of Cape Cod for, you know, letting us use your space as home for these couple of weeks. And please tap into the music. Look me up, you know, Google G4 space JAG, Google Mephux MEPHUX. Tap into Akil Ali, AAQIL Ali space ALI. And please, you know, enjoy the music. Support the artists, man. Support the independent artists. You guys and the hip hop community is what keeps us alive. So we appreciate the support and everybody who genuinely like bleeds this shit, like stuff. Excuse my language. Oops. I try not.
You made it all the way to the end. No, I'm just playing.
All the way to the end, man.
No, I'm just playing.
I was passionate about what I was saying. That's
absolutely.
all.
We're gonna keep that in there, even.
My name right, bro.
I see it all the time.
That's awesome. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing some Akil Ali on the show also. I like what I'm hearing from him as well. So, guys, thank you so much for letting me come in, raid the studio for a little bit, take over, set up, and have this conversation with you. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, DJ TMac, man. If y'all ain't tapped in, man, go tap into DJ TMac, man, for real.
Amen. Thank you.
Anytime, bro.
Cool.